Hey everybody, welcome back to Splinter Fingers Woodworking Shop. I wanted to do my intro video for my shapeoko 4 XXL today. What this video is going to be, I'm going to show you pictures at the end of the projects that I've done with the machine so far, and tell you about what this video series that's going to be coming out on this machine over 2022 throughout the year is about. What I'm planning on doing, what I'm going to be showing, and so on and so forth. I know there's a lot of people, other woodworkers, crafters in my area that are interested in getting a CNC machine. The thing is, same problem I had was trying to justify the cost of the machine. And this video series is going to show how quickly this machine will actually pay for itself. Now, I didn't pay for this machine. I reached out to Carbide Create, and they sent, or Carbide 3D, I keep saying that. I reached out to Carbide 3D, and they sent me this machine. I reached out to several companies that day when I sent out the emails. I reached out to all the big names that we all know. Carbide 3D being the biggest of them. One Affinity, Inventables. I reached out to Open Builds. I reach out to CNC Labs. I reach out to all of those. Carbide 3D, which is the most well-known name, in my opinion, of the desktop small shop CNC machines. They're the ones who reached back out to me, which was kind of amazing to me. I was expecting, if any of them did, it would be the smaller named ones, like the Open Builds or the CNC Labs, but they wanted nothing to do with it, basically. They kind of gave me the brush off. When I got the email back from Carbide, they said, do you have a phone number we can contact you with, that we can call you tomorrow? I said, sure. I didn't know what to expect. They called me about lunchtime the next day and said, yeah, we'd like to send you a machine. And I didn't know what to think. We worked out all the process of getting it shipped and everything, and they contacted me, I think it was on a Thursday or a Friday of one week. I had my machine by Friday of the next week. And then I had it completely put together by that Saturday. Once I got the machine, I come home, brought it home with me. I had to get delivered to my grandparents' house to be able, for the UPS truck to be able to get to the house actually. And I brought it home, and it was on Thursday it came. That Friday, when I got off from work, I come straight home, started putting it together. I worked on it for about 2 hours on Friday, and then I worked another 4 hours on it Saturday, and I was carving by Saturday evening. I actually made this bit tray, which I'll show you here in a few minutes, that same day of getting the machine. So that's how simple it was to put together for me. I've never put one of these together, but I'd watched the videos that they put out on YouTube, them and fellow woodworkers or other CNC shapeoko owners. I'd watched several videos on putting these together, and it came with this instruction manual on putting it together. This is very, very thorough. It done really, I didn't have any trouble. I had trouble talking, but I didn't have trouble putting it together. Only thing that this book did not touch on that I had to basically figure out on my own. I could have messaged Carbide, and I have a couple times since getting the machine. I just didn't that day. I wanted to figure it out for myself. You know how that works. There is a stud, which is right back there, that mounts on the gantry. I'll show you in a few minutes. That activates one of the limit switches, and there was nothing mentioning it in this booklet. It came in a packet on its own. The little stud did. And it wasn't home because it had nothing to contact and activate that limit switch. So I had to figure out what that little stud was, and I went ahead and put it in, and it worked perfectly. But like I said, it took me about 6 hours to set this up. The reason I'd reach out to Carbide and the other companies, but the reason I reach out to them is I know that there's a lot of people in my area, other woodworkers. There's several of you on Instagram that I see talking about it on your stories and stuff. And I got an idea for this video series, because this was what was in my head also. These machines, they're not cheap. We all know that. They're, how can I put it? They're cheaper than what they used to be. And if you can market yourself good, they can pay for themselves quickly. The thought process for reaching out to Carbide to do this video series, I want to do a series of videos showing this machine and all the stuff that they sent with it. I'll tell you what they sent added on to it in just a minute. I want to show how quickly this machine can pay for itself, because that was what was going in my head. I wanted to get a machine. That was the next step in my mind for my business. I do the noodle boards, I do the blanket ladders, I do the hand routed signs. The hand routed signs is one of my bigger sellers, them and the noodle boards. But while I'm working on my noodle boards, I can't be working on a hand routed sign. Excuse me. I can't work on both at the same time. Now I can. I had to change my marketing for my hand routed signs to custom wood signs, because they're not hand routed no more. Some may be. If I've got two signs going at the same time, I probably will put one on this, knock out the other by hand. But this is going to do the majority of my carving now. It can cut out my crosses like you've also seen here on the channel. It can do all of that with just a little bit of programming on a computer. And I've already cut one cross. I'll put a picture here. That cross, if I was doing it the way I'd done before, which is a video series, I've also got on the channel three videos to show how to do a memorial cross. I'll link it in the description if you're interested in checking it out. That cross, if I do it from start to finish, getting it ready to take in, put finish on, or doing it in the yard, putting finish on it, it took me about an hour and a half, because I was cutting it with a jigsaw, which left a lot of cleanup around the edges. This don't. That cross that I showed you a picture of took 30 minutes. That's all. It took about 30 minutes. It done the pocket for the half lap. It fit perfect. There was no gaps, no wiggle, which is something that is very hard for me to do by doing it by hand. It cut out the profile. The edges were perfect. They was plenty smooth. I was using a good sharp end mill from Carbide 3D. I had to do is, once I got it off the machine, I popped it out of the drop. I used tabs on it to hold it in. I tuck it over to my bench, put a round over on both sides, which took care of the tabs, and put it together. The cross was done. That's how quick it was done. I put another little piece on here. It came in, it cut out the heart. It come up, prompt for a bit change. I put in a V-bit, also from Carbide, and it carved that. I took it off, cut the tabs, done the same round over. It was ready to be attached. I took them in the house, put the clear coat on, I stained it, put a clear coat on it, and it was done. I was putting clear coat on the entire cross within an hour. Before the hour was up, there was stain going on the cross. Now when I was doing them by hand, that didn't happen. Usually if I was doing one that was stained, I got the cross done one day, next day I moved on to the finishing and the staining. That's how it normally worked. Now if I was batching them out and I was doing them in the sequences, I could get 2 or 3 done in a day. This machine, I can line them up all the way back and cut about 2 to 3 at a time. I'm thinking about 2 would be about perfect for this. I'm using, for my pine crosses, I use 3/4 inch 1x12, and I just set it up for it to cut it out. It works out perfect. It's a perfect size for cutting the crosses. Now, I've also been doing, I've done some Santa trays during the month of December. I've done ornaments, and that's what these video series is going to be. I'm going to show you what this machine cost. Now, first, before I go on, they sent me the machine, the Carbide router. It comes with the dust boot as a standard, they told me anymore. They included the hybrid table. They included the bit setter. That was an add-on. I'm on the wrong side, you can't see it. Right here. Okay, they sent me the bit setter here. They sent me a starter pack of their end mill starter pack set. Very good quality bits. Some bits they don't carry. I'll be doing another video, some shorts on some bits that I've partnered with another company to show you. It's only going to be bits though that Carbide don't carry. I'm not going to be doing the 60 degrees, 90 degrees, which they carry also, because I am blown away by these Carbide bits. I've been doing hand routed signs now for, shoot, it's probably been about 8-10 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. These bits, they have 3 flutes. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Sorry about that, I got cut off. But what I was saying is these bits from Carbide 3D, they are a 3 fluted spiral upcut bit, and I've used this particular bit on everything that's needed a 1/4 inch bit so far, and it's still plenty sharp and is doing excellent. But like I was saying, I have partnered with another company that to show the other bits, like see Carbide, as of this time anyway, they don't have a cove bit. They got the round-nosed end mills, ball-nosed end mills, sorry. But they don't have like a cove bit or core box bit, whichever one you want to use, for like juice grooves and stuff like that. They also don't have like a 120 degree bit, V-bit. And they have a 30 degree, but they don't have anything that's actually sharper than that that I've seen. I've got a few other bits that I've been using also. Them will be some shorts that will be put onto Instagram, some reels showing those bits in action later down the road. This series, like I was saying before, I was explaining what all came with the shapeoko 4 here. Like I said, I got the machine, the router, the carbide router that came with it here. They include the hybrid table, the end mill starter kit. They also included the Get a Grip clamp kit, which has a bunch of different types of clamps to use. So far I've only nicked one, and I've had it for over 2 months now, so that's a good sign for now. But anyway, I got that. It came with the bit setter, which is a huge help when you're doing a job that has several bits. It'll come up and prompt for a bit change. All I have to do is change the bit out. It'll go over, set its depth, and go right back to carving, instead of having to save separate G-code files for the whole carve. Instead of having to do one for a V-bit, one for end mill, and so on and so forth, I just make one G-code that does all of it, and it'll automatically reset the depth every time it's needed. I asked them if their end mill starter set came with a surfacing bit for the wasteboard or for any kind of material that is warped on you. And they said no, but we'll send you one. This is their McFly cutter. It's got 4 carbide inserts. You can see them here. There's 2 on the bottom, then there's 2 on the sides. Right there's one, and there's the other. 4 total. Each one of those 4 has 4 sides. You can loosen them up, turn them, and tighten them back down, so you get 4 uses out of these cutters before you have to replace them. I've not used that yet, but I probably will be shortly, because I've not put no real deep gouges, but I've cut some little trenches in my wasteboard. All in all, this was a little bit over $2,700 for this machine and everything that they sent me. Like I said, full disclosure, they sent all of this free of charge for me to do this video series on. But I want to show you how quickly it pays for itself. So this was $2,700. As of this date, I've sold, I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'll put what I've sold right up here. Like I said, I don't owe nothing on this machine, but that's the best way I can show you how quickly it will pay for itself. These videos will come out maybe one every month, maybe every other month, maybe a few every week. It's going to mainly depend on what I do with the machine, what opportunities it opens for me. Like if I'm debating on opening an Etsy. I'm starting to do templates for makers. I haven't sold any of those yet, but I've got the files for some charcuterie board templates. If you're interested, hit me up on Instagram. But I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to be reaching out to realtors in my area and some of the local, smaller, privately owned shops. Maybe doing some consignment in a couple of places. One place that's that I'm wanting to do some charcuterie board consignments, and then there's another shop that is in my town that I'm wanting to try to reach out to do some consignments for like little trays and such on like that, some small signs. If they have any craft shows this year, this thing is going to be going quite heavily because a lot of my stock is signs for those shows, and this thing will allow me to crank out those stock signs while I'm doing orders also. So just make sure to like, share if you will, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon if you're interested in this series, because like I said, I don't have a set schedule on when these videos come out, because there's no sense in me putting out a video to come on here and say, hey, I ain't sold nothing else, nothing's changed. But when I have stuff to report on this thing, they will be coming out, and if you're interested in seeing those, please hit that bell icon. That way you'll see them come out. But just stay tuned to the channel, and I hope you get enjoyment, and this will help you decide whether you want to get a CNC or not. I've had this now for about, like I said, from the about 1st of November when I started using it, and it has been a game changer. That's absolutely no joke, no lie. And I'm not just saying it because Carbide sent it to me. I mean, this machine, if you're doing it signs by hand, if you go onto Instagram, message me or message a tip over at Night Carver Designs on Instagram. She just got a new Onefinity sometime last year. If you are doing hand routed signs and you get one of these, you'll understand how long it has taken you to do things, and how much of a time saver and a joy to have and to use these machines really truly are. And I love the Carbide 3D, the shapeoko here. Maybe down the road, if this will take off, maybe I can add to the collection. But just follow along. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.